Welcome to OBM Unscripted, where the systems get sassy, tech tantrums are tamed, and real talk rules the mic.
We're your hosts. I'm Christy Beard, your go-to strategist and business coach.
I'm Manita Brooks, your operations and tech whisperer.
And I'm Lena May, the guru of systems and workflow magic.
We're all accredited OBMs, and we have seen it all.
If you've ever wanted to scream into a client brief, cry over Zapier, or Google, "Can I invoice for emotional labor?" you're in the right place.
This is your space for behind-the-scenes stories, hot takes, and community vibes for OBMs, VAs, and online service bosses.
Real talk, real answers.
Unfiltered,
unscripted.
Hey everyone, welcome back to OBM Unscripted. Today we're getting real about whether or not you should hire a business coach. I think we're going to have a great discussion today. So let's dive right in because we have a business coach among us, and it's Christy. So first thing I want to tell everybody, Christy, is kind of the textbook definition of a business coach isn't that different than what the textbook definition of an OBM is. But there are some differences. So a business coach is someone who helps you think outside the box, challenges your thinking patterns, and helps you move the business forward. And a lot of times that's what OBMs do. We like to challenge our visionaries. Christy, tell me how you got into coaching and any coaching strategies you may have had along the way.
So I will say that I think there is a slight difference between OBM and coaching. And I think the main difference is execution. So as a coach, you tend to ask questions to draw out the information that they may technically already have, or steer them in the direction that you know they need to go in, but you don't want to just come out and say, you need to do this. You want them to figure it out on their own, so to speak. So I think execution would be the biggest difference between an OBM and a coach. I will say that you can kind of throw in consultant in there as well, which is what I kind of really like to do, because I tend to tell people what to do. It's like, I see it, I see the big picture, and it's like, okay, you really need to pivot this way, or you really need to look at this aspect of your business and maybe build that out. So I kind of do a mix of coaching and consulting, just because I find it really hard to ask probing questions without just throwing out there what I feel like they need to do or what I see would really benefit them. So I think that I lean more toward the consulting definition.
How did you get into being a business coach?
I think it came from, so I've got decades of in-person experience with business management and just working with businesses and putting systems in place and just looking from the bird's eye view of how a business is run and the systems that they have in place. And I think it really came from people started asking me questions like, well, what do you think I should do? Or, in your experience, what have you seen would be the best avenue to pursue X? And I think it just got to the point where people were like, you should do this. This is what you're really good at it. You should do that. And I'm like, I don't know, but part of my personality is I'm very outspoken. And so I do like to tell people what to do, not in a bad way, but I'm opinionated and I love to share my opinion. And it's kind of like that just in the professional sense. So I think that's where it stems from. I had people tell me, you're really good at this, you should do this. It just made sense to go there instead of doing more of the implementation aspects of what I used to do for so long. It just felt like a natural progression.
Christy, I have a question. I know as OBMs, we work a lot on systems, and it sounds like you work a lot more on the CEO themselves. So as an OBM, why would I want to bring in a business coach for my own business?
So if you want to get clarity on something, or maybe let's say you want to do a launch, or you want to change up your offers or your products or your services, but you're not really quite sure where you want to go, and you don't want to completely revamp your business because that's what you're known for. So sometimes it would be a good idea to bring a coach on just to kind of brainstorm with them, get some different views and different ideas, different perspectives, stuff like that. But it can also be, you just want help to know that you're on the right track, and you've got somebody that you can say, okay, this is what I'm doing. Am I even doing this right? And what am I forgetting? What am I not seeing? Because we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we know just enough to know that we don't really know a lot about it, but we need to know more about it. And that's a good time to bring on a coach. Let's say you're at that point, you're at a pivoting point, and you need to start bringing on a team. Who do you hire first? What's the next step? What do I do when I bring them on? How do I create that role? So it's just it really depends on where you're at and what you're looking for. But I would say a business coach or consultant or strategist would be good to bring on if you're at that point where you feel like you're growing, you want to pivot. Maybe you want to do something like I did, where instead of doing retainer client work, you wanted to pivot to coaching or consulting or group coaching or have some sort of offer like that. So it's always good to have somebody that can help you just look at the big picture and then work the details out with you.
Oh, what most of our listeners may not know is that we all kind of on the down low coach other OBMs. I know most recently, Maniba, you had somebody that you helped. So what does that look like as coaching other OBMs who reach out to you and say, I'm stuck? Maybe they haven't signed up for your service, but anybody's got 15 minutes, right? So, tell me what that looks like when OBMs reach out to you.
So, over the last couple months, I've had numerous OBMs or people who are maybe in the VA space thinking about becoming an OBM reach out to me for a quick call. Like, they'll just send me a message on LinkedIn. I'm always open to connect. Whenever I do meet with potential OBMs or existing OBMs, I don't charge them anything because, like you said, everybody has 15 minutes. Sometimes our conversations do go 30 minutes to an hour because we're just talking away. That's okay, because from my perspective, I'm here to help. I really want to bring everybody in that's interested in this space. I kind of want to bring everyone up and go from there. But if ever, there comes a point where someone feels like, you know what, I need something more intensive than just a quick brain dump, sure, I'm here for that too. But typically what that looks like is they'll reach out on LinkedIn. Hey, do you have a couple minutes to chat? Sure. I send them my scheduling link. We find a time, we connect. And usually it's picking my brain. To be honest, that's what it's been so far. And sometimes they'll say, well, I've got this scenario, X scenario, and this is what's going on. Or, what did you do when you went through this part? And I'm happy to answer any questions that they have, because sometimes you just need that spark to get going. So for me, at least, if someone just needs a spark, a quick start, yeah, I'm here to help. Absolutely. I'll spend the time doing that. But I think if someone is looking for a bit more of ongoing support, mentoring, really like, okay, I'm really scared right now. I have a lot on the line. I need to make my business succeed. I would tell them, look into actually getting a coach that can help you step by step and kind of help walk you through those hurdles, because sometimes you don't always have the flexibility to live and learn and you have to make things happen. So if you have someone experienced by your side, that person can take you step by step of the way and help troubleshoot these issues that you have that are popping up, where you just need to get it done.
Yeah, and in the real estate space, I may have TCs or real estate admins reach out to me with questions. And if we can give people that spark and cheerlead other people within our spaces and communities, I mean, how many billions of people are in the world? You guys are my competition, but I don't see you as competition. I want you to succeed because I did with you guys, and even the people I'm not invested in. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I'm invested in that.
I think that's the beauty about the OBM profession and the online space in general, is because there are billions of people in this world and there's more than enough to go around. And just the way our engagements are usually structured, it's pretty in depth and it's pretty hands on. And what we provide is not always cookie cutter. Of course, some OBMs do have their services standardized that way, where you can come in, implement a specific CRM, and then you're out. And other OBMs, their model is very customized to the business, and there's enough to go around. So even if you find your specialty or something that you really enjoy and you end up encountering a discovery call where you're like, I don't really want to do that, there are other OBMs you can pass it on to and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm giving it away to my competition. Because it's just, we get into this business for a reason, whatever our reason is. And usually it's for some type of freedom. You want money, you want your time back, you want flexibility, whatever that reason is for you. And I think referring potential clients to other OBMs doesn't get in the way of that, because there's just so much work to be done.
I would almost add to that we are our greatest competition, but also even though we all have the OBM title, we all specialize in something different, which allows us to collaborate with other OBMs and VAs and online business professionals that do similar things. And I'm not super techie. I know just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to get paid for it, if that makes sense. So when I have a tech question, I go to Maniva, and so she helps me with that. I think it's good to have a community that you can go to of other OBMs and VAs and online business professionals that you can pull from and say, when a client says, I need X, you can do everything but one small aspect of it. I would say don't turn that job down because you don't know ClickUp. I would say get in your community and find somebody that knows how to do ClickUp, and they can help you with that aspect of the client's retainer or project. So you're able to have a more robust library, so to speak, that you can pull from that will help you not only grow personally, but also in your business and help more clients. I would say that it's beneficial to have more OBMs and online business professionals in your circle that you can pull from. And I would not consider them competition. I would almost consider them like an extension of you.
Christy, tell me about a time where you met with a business coach and you had an aha moment.
I was transitioning a few years ago. I was transitioning from the in-person space to the online space, and I wanted to do all the things. And because I have a lot of things that I enjoy doing, and I wanted all of it to be cohesive into like one thing. Not possible, just FYI, but I feel like I finally did make it possible in the most cohesive way. But I was talking with them, and of course, I'm saying I want to do this and I want to do this and I really love doing this, and they had said something that it just made things click. And it was more of like, what do you really, really want to do? If you did nothing else in a perfect world, what would that look like? And then what is your end result? And it made me think, because after doing what I've done for so long, I realized I don't really want to do the implementation aspects of putting together a business. I enjoy it. It's wanted to transition out of the hands-on and more of helping people to see what they could do with their business. And that was a big moment for me because I was really struggling. I was trying to do what everybody else was doing as an OBM, because that's a new phrase, online business manager. A few years ago, when I wanted to make this transition, I had no idea what the keywords were to find what I wanted. As an OBM, you have like 3 to 4 packages, and you tell them what those packages are, and they progress in experience and deliverables. But it dawned on me in that conversation, I don't really want to do that. And it was such an eye-opener for me, because I then took a step back and I looked at my entire business model. I revamped it from offering retainer services to what I now have, which is my main offer. And then I also have small intensives and stuff, but I've moved from retainer to basically projects, and it has a begin date, it has an end date, but it's services that I feel like gives the client the biggest bang for their buck. I think I offer the best of both worlds in the sense that I am a coach and a strategist. I literally can work in my own time, and I have went from 50 plus hours a week to maybe 15. I save a lot of time because I can decide, okay, I can fit this project in next week or whatever, and it allows me to schedule my time a lot better.
So, as a business coach, if we have OBMs out there listening to this and saying, maybe I want to be a business coach instead of an OBM, what would you advise them and what things should they consider before deciding should they go straight OBM or maybe branch out into business coaching?
Wow, that's kind of a hard one. I would say that first know yourself and know your proclivities. Obviously OBMs, we're in the business of helping people, but being a coach is very different from an OBM in the sense that as a coach, you need to be able to, we kind of touched on this last week, is like emotional intelligence. You need to be able to read the room. You need to be able to understand the big picture. You need to be able to look outside of the box, but also look to the future and the end goal and be able to make that connection. And it sounds a lot easier than it is sometimes. And I also think that you have to be able to be in a space where you can communicate and articulate with the client in a way that you understand what they want, and then you have to figure out how to help them get there. That's what they're coming to you for. Most times they know what they want, but they're not really clear on how to get to that point. So I would say that would probably be the biggest struggle for most people, because I like to just skip the middle part and say, okay, this is what you want, this is what you need to do. But as a coach, you can't really do that. You have to guide them and lead them in the direction so that it's them that makes the connection, not you telling them what to do. And that's like a fine distinction, but I think it's a necessary one as a coach.
So, Christy, where do you see service providers reaching for coaching when they might just need better systems, or they might need a little rest because they're just overworking themselves on their own business?
Yeah, I would say probably when they're feeling overwhelmed, it's probably a good idea for them to look into at least talking to a coach to get a better picture of like next steps. And they're really only going to be able to do that if they can talk to somebody outside of their own space, so that they have a fresh perspective on what their goal is, what they're doing, and how to get there. So I would say that if they're feeling confused, there's nothing wrong, or overwhelmed, or they're just not sure, then there's nothing wrong with jumping on a call with somebody. A lot of people, I do, but I know a lot of coaches have discovery calls or consultation calls that are free, and there's nothing wrong with jumping on a call with somebody. You do it out of curiosity. It's like, okay, how can you help me? This is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. How can you help me? Or is it even necessary for me to have a coach? I've turned people down, and I've told people, you don't need a coach. You just need clarity. And here's a plan based on, here's a plan based on what I've heard from you. That's all you need. You just need step 1, 2, and 3, and go have fun. Go do it. You're good. But then there are others that do need a little ongoing support. And those are the ones that you can make a more in-depth plan for, and them to reach the goal that they had in mind.
What do you see as the major difference between coaching, strategy, and support? If I were struggling with my business, how would I figure out, do I need a coach? Do I need just somebody to strategize with? Do I need emotional support? I just need a venting session. What kinds of questions do I need to be asking to figure out which one I need?
I think if the the person that you go to for help, if they're good at what they do, they'll be able to ask you the right questions to figure out where you're at based on your responses. With that said, I would say that if you are looking for more of like just support, then that to me would be more like you need somebody that you can call up or jump on a call with and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, talk me down. Right. That's kind of like the support. Or if they just want a second set of eyes on something. This is what I want to do. This is my offer. This is my funnel. Can you look at it and tell me if it makes sense or where the holes are? The strategic aspect of it, I would say if you are kind of in the place that I was where you know what you want to do, but you're really not sure how to get that end result. For me, it was just being in a new space, going from in-person to online, and things are different in the online space. But strategically, I would say that if you're looking for somebody that can help you like with long-term future goals and plans, that's where I would say the strategic aspect comes in. So they can help you create like a 12-week plan, a 6-month plan, and keep you on target and help you to pivot if you need to, because you will. A 6-month plan at 6 months is a long time, and a lot can change in 6 months. You need to be able to look at what you're doing and where you're going and making sure that you don't need to make pivots in between, because I guarantee you do. So that would be more the strategic part of it.
I do want to add, though, in our imposter syndrome episode, we offered a emotional survivor kit downloadable for our newsletter subscribers. So quick plug, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. But if you're using that checklist and working through that every single week, and then you're starting to notice a pattern where your emotional load is coming into play, there's other things going on in your life, there's intrusive thoughts creeping in, maybe look into accessing the service of a therapist, because there are limitations to what a business coach can help you get through. And then sometimes you do need the professional expertise of a therapist, and there may be deeper underlying things going on there that business coaches are not always equipped to handle. And a good business coach can differentiate between what they're able to handle and what you should probably be seeking professional support for, because that line can sometimes get very, very blurred. So just a heads up, make sure you're in tune with whatever's going on. Talk to somebody, reach out to them. Even when you're, like Christy mentioned, most business coaches have discovery calls. Talk to a few of them. You don't have to settle on the first one that you come across. And see if there is a fit, a connection, because I know with my clients, with my discovery calls, I'm looking for that connection because I know that's how I work well. It's kind of the same concept with a business coach. You're about to get very emotionally involved with this person, for better or worse. And the outcomes of your business, of your livelihood, of your mental health, they're going to be deeply intertwined with this person. So make sure you have that level of comfort with them instead of saying, oh, they're a coach, they have good testimonials, I guess they'll help me. Sometimes that's not good enough. You have to feel a bit of a connection, a bit of an investment with this person that you feel comfortable going forward and, for lack of a better word, eventually trauma dumping on them, because that's sometimes going to happen.
We're about to wrap up this episode, but I did want to let our listeners know that we do have a special bonus download for them on whether or not they should hire a business coach. So we'll make that downloadable available to you. In the meantime, if you have somebody that you think would benefit from this episode, please like, share, subscribe. And as always, go ahead and sign up for our Facebook or LinkedIn communities. It's been great talking to you guys today. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.